In a certain town, there was a young man named William, the seventh child in his family, born into an old and distinguished family. Since his youth, he had admired Taoism and had heard that Mount Liao was home to many immortals. He set out to explore the mountain, carrying his travel bag. Upon reaching the summit, he arrived at a secluded Taoist temple. There, he met a Taoist priest sitting on a mat, with long white hair falling around his neck and an otherworldly demeanor. William bowed and conversed with the priest, finding his explanations very profound. William requested to become the priest's disciple. The priest expressed concern that William might not endure the hardships of Taoist practice, but William insisted he could handle it. The priest agreed, and William stayed at the temple with the other disciples. After some time, William's hands and feet developed thick calluses from the hard labor, causing him great discomfort. He secretly thought of returning home. One evening, he returned to the temple and saw the priest and two guests enjoying drinks together, although the room was dark. The priest had cut paper into shapes resembling mirrors and pasted them on the walls. Soon, the moonlight shone through, illuminating the room so that even the smallest details were visible. The disciples gathered around in awe. One guest said, "Such a beautiful night deserves to be celebrated." He took a jug of wine from the table, distributed it to the others, and urged them to drink their fill. William thought, with only 7 or 8 people, how could one jug of wine be enough? He took out his own cup, drank eagerly, and refilled his cup repeatedly, fearing that the wine would run out. To his surprise, the jug seemed never to empty. This puzzled him greatly. Soon, another guest said, "With such bright moonlight, why don't we invite the moon goddess Chona to join us?" He tossed chopsticks towards the moon. A beautiful woman appeared, emerging from the moonlight. She was slender, and her dance was elegant, resembling the rainbow skirt and feathered coat dance. She sang a song with a clear and melodious voice, expressing her longing for the mortal world and her loneliness in the moon palace. After her song, she twirled and leaped onto the table, then turned back into chopsticks. The 3 guests laughed heartily. Another guest remarked, "This night is delightful, but I can no longer handle the wine. Can you send me to the moon palace?" The 3 guests moved their seats to the moon and gradually faded from view. The disciples watched as they saw the 3 drinking on the moon, their reflections like shadows in a mirror. As time passed and the moonlight dimmed, the disciples lit candles and found that only the priest remained in the room, while the guests had vanished. The food and wine were still on the table, and the paper moon on the wall was merely a round decoration. The priest asked if everyone had drunk enough, and they replied affirmatively. The priest then advised them to rest early so as not to miss the woodcutting duties. They agreed and left. William was secretly pleased. After another month, the hardships became unbearable, but the priest still did not teach him any real skills. William, unable to wait any longer, asked to leave, saying that he had traveled hundreds of miles to study under a sage, and although he might not learn the secret of eternal life, he hoped to acquire some useful techniques. He requested to be taught something that would be practical for a few months, and not just for enduring labor. The priest smiled and said, "I knew you could not endure the hardship. Tomorrow morning, I will send you away." William said that he had worked hard and wished to receive some practical skills. The priest asked what he wanted to learn. William replied, "Every time I see you pass through walls, it seems that walls cannot block you. If I could learn this method, it would be enough." The priest laughed and agreed to teach him. He then imparted a formula and instructed William to chant the spell and say, "Enter." William faced the wall, but hesitated to enter. The priest encouraged him to try. William bravely attempted to enter the wall, which felt like there was nothing blocking him. Overjoyed, he thanked the priest. The priest reminded him to maintain purity of heart, or the technique might fail, and provided him with some tools for his return. Upon returning home, William tried to demonstrate his newfound skill. His wife was skeptical. William followed the priest's method, running towards the wall, but ended up hitting it and falling down, resulting in a large bump on his forehead. His wife, seeing this, mocked him. William felt embarrassed and angry, blaming the priest for his deceit.